This quick tip is going to demonstrate how you can use locators as custom workplanes that you can align at any angle and also align to geometry. Now, why would you do this? Well, basically there are a few limitations with a standard workplane, and I'm going to show you one of them. Basically, if you want to work on this polygon here, for instance, even with trackball rotation on, it's relatively easy to align it so it's kind of facing up, but you can't tumble around it because the viewport is essentially designed to be Y up. If you've got a space mouse, which I have, it's a little bit easier. I'm just using it here, but still not that convenient, and the minute you try and revert back to the normal mouse controls, it's going to flip back to being Y up. So there is a way around this, and this is to use locators. So I'll just demonstrate this very quickly. If you go to the item list and go to Add Item, Locators, and just choose the standard locator, you can see it's added a locator to the scene. It's here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees in the X. So in item mode, activate the rotate tool, hold down the control key to constrain it to an angle, and I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now, what you can do is you can shift the viewport to face the Y up of any object in your item list. This is controlled by this column here. If you've never used this feature before, you probably never really noticed this column, but if I tick here, you can see that it's temporarily shifted my viewport so that this locator's Y up is my world Y up, and I can untick it and it goes back to normal. So if I tick this and then select my mesh item and go into polygon mode, you can see I'm rotating around the side of this object now really comfortably, and if I activate the cube tool, I can really easily build a cube in this orientation. And also notice that the workplane is still flipping like it normally does, so if I wanted to come out and build something at 90 degrees to this, that would also be relatively easy. Just do it like so. And when I finished, I just untick this little icon, and you can see it's put everything back to normal, but just made my workflow much more convenient for this little operation. So in the previous example, all I did was to rotate the locator, but in many instances you're going to need to align it more precisely with some geometry. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to select this polygon, and I'm going to hit Shift Home to align the workplane with this polygon. Now I'm going to switch to item mode, and I'm going to select my locator, go to the Setup tab, and just to be sure that we can see the workplane, I'm going to hit the O key to bring up the viewport properties and just make sure Show Workplane is ticked. And now with my locator selected in the item list in item mode, look for the command that says Set to Workplane Position and Set to Workplane Rotation. You need to click on both of these, so I'm going to set to workplane position first, then click and hold, and set to workplane rotation next. And now I'm going to go back to the model tab. First thing you need to do is hit the end key to, pardon me, reset your workplane, because it's a bit glitchy if you don't. And now I'm going to click on this little icon to basically use my locator to define the Y up of the viewport. I'm going to go to my mesh item in polygon mode, and now basically the center of the world is now the center of this polygon. So if I draw out the base of a cube, oh pardon me, I need to align my workplane. If I draw out the base of a cube, you can see that if I zero out all the coordinates of this base of a cube, it's going to be aligned exactly with the center of that polygon, and now I can drag this out. But you still have the interactive workplane in the viewport, just you saw me make that mistake a second ago. So for instance, you can use the locator and the workplane in conjunction with each other. So if I just highlight this this polygon and hit the home key, it brings the workplane there, and if I now draw out some more geometry, you can see it's aligned where the workplane is. I'm going to reset the workplane and then untick this to reset the view, and you can see how convenient it is to work like this, because basically you can align your view to any geometry you like. So this system of using locators is very flexible because you can essentially align it to any kind of geometry at any angle. So to demonstrate this, I've got another mesh that's up in a 3D space at a really odd angle, and I'm just going to select this face and hit Shift Home to align my work plane to this to this polygon in space. I'm going to add another locator to the scene and switch to item mode, and let's go to the setup tab, and once again I'm going to select my locator, set to workplane position, and then click and hold set to workplane rotation. Switch back to the model tab. I'm just going to very quickly reset my workplane, and now I'm going to click on this icon to bring basically this locator as the center of my view. And if I go to the mesh and go into polygon mode, once again, if I draw out some geometry, make sure my workplane's aligned, there we go. Let me just align it. Let me just align it with this cube. Draw some geometry out. Here we go, and once again I'm going to hit end to reset my workplane, highlight this polygon, hit home, draw out some more geometry, and once I'm done, hit end to reset the workplane and untick this little icon, and you can see that I've built this geometry really quickly and easily at a really odd angle. Now the great thing about using these locators is you're not constrained to using just one part of the geometry for the alignment and position. You could, for instance, use an edge to define the position and then use a polygon to define the rotation. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to add a third locator to the scene, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this geometry and select this edge and shift home to align my workplane to it. Now you can see that what it's done is aligned the workplane to the normal of the edge. So if I now select my locator and go to setup mode, if I set to workplane rotation and set to workplane position, you can see what it's done is that it's we've now got let me just demonstrate this by going into this view. We've now got our Y up defined as the normal of this edge, but it might not be what you want. So let's go back to the regular view. What you might actually want is the position to be here, but the alignment to be with this polygon here. Well, that's very simple. Just select the polygon and shift home to align the workplane to that polygon, and go back to item mode and select your locator. Now you don't need to move the position. You can keep the position on this edge, but simply change the rotation. So let's set to workplane rotation this time, and you can see that's done what I was planning to do. So you switch back to the model tab, reset my workplane, and let's click on this little icon here, and you can see that my view is now centered. My world is centered on this edge but aligned to the polygon, so it's very, very flexible. You've got a lot of control of exactly where your locator is positioned, and also what angle it's positioned to, because you can use different parts of the geometry to align and place independently of each other. So it really is very, very flexible, and you can still use the workplane as well. So it's very useful. And the other great thing about it is that basically you save these locators in your item list, so they're always accessible. You can always switch from one to another. So if you want to go back to the very first one we created, you simply click there, and you've got your view aligned to this, and you can switch between them and save them and give them sensible names. It's just very, very powerful. So I think it's basically like having a whole bunch of workplanes accessible anytime you like. So hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.